Good morning. On behalf of the members of the American Legion Post 128, welcome to our Veterans Day ceremony. We are honored to be able to carry on this tradition, first established as Armistice Day in 1918, with the signing of the armistice which ended World War I. The treaty went into effect at 11 a.m. on November 11th, 1918, and later became known as Veterans Day. Thank you to Rye Recreation and the Rye DPW for setting up for us this morning, and to the members of Rye Boy Scout Troop 2 for acting as ushers. I would like to also thank Milton School, who hosted a well-attended Veterans Appreciation breakfast last Friday. Thank you to Rye Middle School, not to be outdone, hosted a Veterans Appreciation breakfast yesterday. The point being that respect for veterans and our military is alive and well in our community. What do we got here? Okay, I would like to recognize members of the Rye City Council and all city employees present who helped to run our city so well. We begin our ceremony with a presentation of the colors, followed by our national anthem sung by American Legion Auxiliary President Robin Latimer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Color Guard, prepare colors. Please stand. Color Guard, advance colors. Turn. Present colors. Right hand salute.
Please join me. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
The Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Two. Please continue to stand. Please remain standing for the invocation offered by Reverend Carrie Pattison of Rye Presbyterian Church. Uncover.
When I say, Lord, in your mercy, I invite you to join me and say, hear our prayer. Gracious God, we gather today to honor and give thanks for the courage and service of our veterans. We pray for those who have served our nation that you will bless them for their sacrifice, their bravery, and their dedication to preserving our freedoms. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayer. For those veterans who are still with us, we ask for your continued guidance and comfort. Grant them peace, health, and happiness, and may they feel the gratitude of a nation who stands united in appreciation of their service. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayer. For those who are currently serving, shield them from danger and bring them home safely. May they experience your firm support and compassionate care, and may you fill them with good ethical wisdom and reasoning and care for the common good. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayer. For those who have made the ultimate sacrifice, grant them eternal rest, and may their memory be a blessing to us all. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayer. God, we pray for your healing upon those who carry the burdens of war, both physical and spiritual. Guide us to support our veterans with love, respect, and the resources they need. Help us, O Lord, to remember what they have sacrificed and to strive to uphold the values of liberty and justice for which they have fought. Lord, in your mercy. God, we pray for all international organizations of goodwill, that their efforts may lead to a strengthening of those influences which make for peace. As great sacrifices have been made for war, awaken in us and in all people, O God, the willingness to make great sacrifices for peace, so that the day may be hastened when no nation shall draw the sword against another, and people shall study war no more. We ask this in the name of the one whose name is peace. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayer. Amen.
Color guard, post colors. Please be seated. It is my pleasure to introduce the mayor of Rye, Josh Cohen.
Thank you, Fred. Good morning, everyone. Thanks. Thank you. Thanks to all of you for being here, to the American Legion for organizing this celebration of our vets, and to city staff for all the logistics. This is just a wonderful crowd, and I do apologize for the parking constraints. Though our city staff is excellent, they just couldn't stretch the parking lot this morning. I'm grateful for this opportunity as mayor to reflect with you on the great gift that literally millions of Americans are giving us right now. As I speak, there are millions of active duty and reserve military personnel pledged to protect us, to sacrifice themselves if need be, for our Constitution and for our way of life, in times of war and times of disaster. Without this gift of service, we would not have the nation we have today. Without this gift continuing, our nation of tomorrow would be a poor reflection of its past. At its core, the nature of this gift is the assumption of a universe of risk. We all recognize the risk that's top of mind when we think of the life of a soldier. That is the risk of combat with its kill or be killed premise. But combat marks so many who survive with wounds, some catastrophic, of body and of mind. And then there are all the other physical risks, from burn pit or depleted uranium exposure engendered illnesses to simple training accidents, vehicles rolling over, practice rounds misdirected. You name the risk, Somewhere in our military, it's on offer, and our vets have borne them all. That includes a principal risk that isn't perhaps top of mind. That is the risk for each subordinate of the flaws of his or her commanders. That risk can affect the well-being of entire units or of individuals. It's a risk that may be sourced at each level of command, from platoon leader to commander-in-chief and all our policymakers. And this risk, the risk of misdirection, mismanagement, and plain old mistake, may of course be devastating in its consequences, and it has been assumed and borne by our vets. I spoke of command risk as a principal risk, and that was principal with an AL end. Command risk, however, calls forth a remedy of principle with an LE end. Tests of the words spelled that way are never easy. Those who are tested are not only those in military service, but also very much those of us who are served. We desperately need those in our military and its command to be highly principled. We, the people, generally, however, with our votes and our voices in our democracy, must be the ultimate principled shapers of the ethos of our hugely powerful military. So long as we enjoy a democracy, we are the ultimate shaper of the risks our soldiers bear and of the nature of the tasks put before them. So how can we thank those who put themselves so thoroughly in our hands as we put our trust in them? Simply put, we need to take very good care of them when they are serving and after. Those who have served with honor deserve our great respect and our great care. The benefits they have earned must be great, and to sound a current note, should be delivered free of the effects of political funding strife. Though vets' benefits have been paid, VA workers have been furloughed to obvious effect. We're all aware today that not all the needs of our veterans are being met. Each of us has a responsibility, if we have the wherewithal, to do our part with time or money to help our vets. It's so not hard. There are not-for-profits that advertise and those that don't. A little online perusal will take you to services that explain different not-for-profit goals and rate their effectiveness. Some of us might do even better by employing vets. There's a real need, especially among disabled vets, female vets, and younger vets. So on this Veterans Day, let's appreciate and thank our vets, and let's make sure our thanking includes finding ways to help vets who are in need. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Congressman George Latimer.
Thank you very much, Fred, and to the veterans who are here today, those who are throughout the community. It's a great honor to be able to be here, and on behalf of all of my fellow elected officials who are here at different levels of government, some of them who can't be here today, if we are yet to be joined by State Senator Shelley Mayer, County Executive Ken Jenkins, and others, we all are in great admiration of the commitment that these men and women have made over the course of time. And I think for me, it's a very personal thing. I know who Fred DeBarros is. I know who Howie Heil, Terry McCartney, Tom Seaver, Hugh Morgan. I don't need a listing of names to No, these are friends, these are neighbors, these are people that we've interacted with in so many other different ways. And so in many ways, we're respecting the people amongst us today because they made a sacrifice that many of us did not by putting on the uniform of their country. And some of them saw wartime, but even in peacetime, there's a potential danger that every vet has. And as I say to my friend Bob Cipher, who served on the city council as a Marine, he's not a former Marine, you're a Marine forever. And all of these men and these women are forever, as far as we're concerned, civilians are concerned, part of this military. I had the great opportunity almost 40 years ago to sit in that chair right back there here in the Rye City Council. And so many others who are in the room have had that opportunity at various times. It's a little strange to think that a little later today I'm going to get in a car and drive to Washington, D.C., and I'm going to see the capital of the United States, where there is a seat that I have there with which I'm to try to use the judgment that I hope I showed when I sat in that chair. But remembering the past is what strengthens you. And each one of these gentlemen who are here, representative of their generation, are men, and I'm in their same age cohort, or just about. They think back to when they were in their 20s, perhaps even in their 30s when they had service. And on a day like today that's cold outside, you know, most of us like, well, it's kind of a cold day today. You know, you feel the first chill of winter. Who amongst them was in Korea and the bitter cold and Pork Chop Hill? Or those that were in the exact opposite weather, burning desert weather during the cause for Iraqi freedom, or the Middle East, or in the jungles of Vietnam. These gentlemen and these women who served us in government on a personal level left the comfortable homes that we have here in Rye, the comfortable homes that we're going to return to at some point in time today. And they left voluntarily and served in other parts of the world. They risked death if it was in wartime, but even in peacetime, and I think the mayor pointed this out, there can still be harm that can come to a person who's in military service. That is a debt of gratitude that we owe them. And the minimum delivery of that are the veteran services that they deserve to have. And I think the mayor said this accurately. That should not be part of the political argument that we have over apples and bananas. We should always understand that their sacrifice wasn't made contingent upon getting something. They did it freely of their own will, and they served us beautifully and well. And I think that's really what, to me, Veterans Day is. And the fact that now, as Fred pointed out, that many of our elementary schools, a couple in Port Chester now and others, are adding programs to honor veterans on days in addition to Veterans Day, that is the mindset of our society. We should have that sense of gratitude all the time, not just a couple of times a year, because these men and women were in the military 365 days every year that they served. And that service was significant. I always joke about remembering the movie. It's a long time ago now, so a lot of people may not remember it. Richard Gere was in a movie called An Officer and a Gentleman. And if you remember the movie, Lou Gossett Jr. played the drill sergeant who got right in his face. And for us civilians, that became, oh my God, that's what basic training looks like, when they shave off your hair and some guy gets in your face. And as I say that, I'm sure each of you are thinking about that moment, John, when somebody got in your face and was screaming at you, and you had to keep it cool because he was your commanding officer, your drill sergeant. That's what these men faced. And they did it because they believed in something. And maybe when I get to Washington, I'll try to remind myself and my colleagues, that's why we have a national government. And that's the only really reason why we have it, is to do something for other people that's intelligent and smart. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Now, please welcome up State Assemblyman Steve Otis.
It is always an honor for all of us today to be in the presence of the veterans of this community who have served, and it has been reflected upon in some of the other comments that you may have served a few years, a double stint, but you carry with you the experience that you had for the rest of your lives. And that may be the good memories, the difficult memories. It may be disease, it may be other kinds of afflictions, it may be the horrors of war. It never leaves you. And so when we say thank you to veterans, important to remember that they are still living with what they experienced and what they sacrificed to create the freedom in this country and the freedom around the world that this country stands for. It is so vital. In this time, in this year, I think of a couple of things that are of the moment. One is the very difficult cuts that were subjected on the Veterans Administration earlier this year, the staffing cuts that are harming veterans that are in residence or veterans that are receiving services. This is unacceptable. This has to be turned around. I'm sure George will lead the road to turning it around. But that's unacceptable that we pull back anything in support of veterans who need help and need medical services. The second thing that occurs to me is something that has been in the news in the last few months and is very disturbing and is unprecedented, and that is the removal of career military leaders, many of whom have been in the military with illustrious careers for decades, for unknown reasons, unspoken reasons, political reasons, or just mistake. The idea that the normalcy of military leadership is interrupted by something that's not even, you can't even get your hands around, the arbitrariness of this. This is a disservice to people who decided to make the military a lifelong career, to stay in for decades, who served in war zones, who rose to leadership, managing different commands. The fact that that process is politicized for the first time, I think puts the military at risk and puts all of us at risk. So we should follow that story and understand that that has an impact on, in a sense, a mistreatment of veterans and the forced retirement of military leadership for no reason whatsoever. Very disturbed about that. But we are here today to thank these gentlemen, men and women, who have served and their families for the sacrifice and the gift that they have given us for this great country that we live in, this great town that we live in. We are so lucky, and it would not be possible. This would be a different place if the fights of previous decades and previous battles had turned out a different way. This would be a different country. God bless the men and women who served in our armed forces. We honor them today. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Our principal speaker is the Chief Executive Officer of the Rye YMCA. She is the first woman to serve as the CEO of both the Rye YMCA and the Bath Area Family YMCA in Maine, two communities with more than a century of service to their civilian, military, and veterans communities. As CEO of the Bath Area Family YMCA for 24 years, she worked closely with the U.S. Navy. She has partnered with Military OneSource to ensure access to fitness, swimming, and wellness opportunities for service members and their families. She also worked with multiple Navy ship crews preparing for sea trials. Please welcome up Sabrina Murphy.
Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me back there. I really am honored to be here. I'm honored to represent a community serving, youth serving organization. But I want to express my appreciation to our public officials, our military representatives, and many community organizations that are here today. Your presence reminds us that honoring veterans is truly a shared responsibility for all of us. Today we honor the men and women who serve the call. Because of your courage and sacrifice, we enjoy the freedoms that define our nation. We are profoundly grateful for all that you have done and continue to do in service to our country. The YMCA has a proud history of supporting our military, reaching back toward the Civil War. In 1941, the YMCA was one of 6 organizations to co-found the USO. the United Service Organizations, providing morale and recreational services to troops during World War II. When the USO briefly deactivated in 1947, the Armed Services YMCA carried on that mission, ensuring that military personnel and their families always had community support. The Rye YMCA's military history continues that proud tradition today. We are supporting families, children, and veterans in our community. I'd like to share a story that illustrates the impact of YMCA support. While I was the CEO in Bath, Maine at the YMCA, I befriended Navy Lieutenant Commander Angie Gonzalez. Angie was a single mother of twin girls. She served aboard the USS Zumwalt, which was an advanced Navy stealth-guided missile destroyer, the first of its class. It was built at Bath Iron Works in Maine. And while leading her ship's crew in physical fitness activities at the Y, Lieutenant Commander Gonzalez relied on the YMCA for childcare for her daughters. That support allowed her to serve her country with excellence, knowing her children were safe and cared for. Her story reflects the resilience, dedication, and ingenuity of our service members and the vital role that our community should play and continues to play in supporting them. The USS Zumwalt was commissioned in 2013 and was named after Admiral Elmo R. Zumwalt, a Navy leader who was known for his forward-thinking reforms and for championing equality for women and African Americans in service. The YMCA's support of service members has sometimes come in very unexpected forms. During World War I, the YMCA helped boost troops' morale by providing recreation, care packages, and other services. One very unforgettable story is of Mutt, a French bulldog, who served as a mascot and a trench runner for the 11th Engineers in 1918. Not something we might do today, but Mutt delivered cigarettes and small comforts to soldiers in the trenches. Mutt was wounded twice and yet safely returned to New York. This story is considered to originate within the Rye YMCA and reminds us that support comes in many forms and every act of care matters. Remembering service is not something we do only on Veterans Day. It is something we teach and we pass forward. At the YMCA, in our schools, we have the responsibility and the privilege to help young people understand the sacrifice that has shaped our country. I've had the honor of accompanying 8th graders to the fields of Gettysburg, where the lessons of courage, loss, and unity under fire are not just stories in a textbook. They are felt in the ground beneath your feet. Together with children, we walked through the Holocaust Memorial Museum, where silence speaks louder than a lecture. And we stood at the war memorials in DC, reading the names of those who never came home. These trips are not history field trips. They're acts of remembrance. They remind our young people today that freedom is not guaranteed. It is earned through the sacrifices of those who served, and it is protected when we remember them. Veterans, active duty personnel, your families, the freedoms we enjoy today exist because of your courage and your commitment. Through the YMCA, through our city of Rye, through our community, we stand with you. We offer programs, resources, and communities that honor your service. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for your service. And thank you for inspiring all of us to continue to supporting those who serve on the battlefield, at home, and here in Rye. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Sabrina. We will now have a moment of silence for all veterans across America and around the world who serve to protect freedom.
Please join me in singing God Bless America. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the ocean white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Thank you, Robin. That was beautiful. Color guard, prepare colors. Color guard, retire colors. On behalf of the Rye Post of the American Legion, thank you for attendance and for your continued support of all veterans. You are invited to join us at a reception for a light lunch and refreshments at the Locust Avenue Firehouse, which is located right across the Village Green. Thank you.